Welcome to Italian Innovators. I'm Luca Cottini, and today I'm in the company of Filippo Poletti, journalist, Chief Digital Officer at Fiera Milano, top voice LinkedIn influencer, host and creator with Monica Bormetti of the LinkedIn live show New Normal, and author of Tempo di IOP, Intranet of People for Flaccovio in 2020, and soon to come of Grammatica del Nuovo Mondo, Grammar of the New World. Filippo collaborated with over 30 newspapers and is a leading voice in company internal communication, digital communications in business, and the promotion of services, products, and professional communities. So thank you, Filippo, for accepting my invitation. It's a real pleasure to have you in the show.
Thank you, Luca, for having me.
So today we'll position ourselves at the intersection of humanities, journalism, social media, and business storytelling. We'll observe the formation of new models of journalism in Italian new media, the impact of storytelling in the growth of a company, LinkedIn as a professional and cultural platform of innovation, and different approaches to the internet as a tool of human and meaningful interactions. Now, I want to start from your story. You studied music and you then moved to journalism. How did your musical or humanistic formation help you develop this path, your path, and have a particular perspective on the industry now?
Okay, Luca, I owe everything to music. I owe everything to humanities. Luca, I wouldn't be in communication if I hadn't studied guitar and composition, Greek and Latin, believe me. Hold on, every company is an orchestra. Every band would like to be as universal as music. Because the reason is simple. Music brings people together. So as John Denver said, no matter what language we speak, no matter, because we are the same. We are the same in music. So the American folk singer was right. Everybody likes music. I suppose that you like music too. So I like Chopin, I like Bach, I like Bruce Springsteen as well. Music is the soundtrack of to my life. When I get up, I need rock music. When I eat, I listen to Brian Eno. I like Brian Eno. When I go to bed, I listen to classical music. But what experience is as powerful as musical one? No one. The magic word of industry is experience. Marketers say that a brand is not a logo. A brand is not a website. A brand is not a product. It's an experience. So Igor Stravinsky, the Russian-American composer, taught me that every company has to design how people interact with their product. A composer is the experience he or she, depends, delivers. So a brand is the experience it delivers. So that said, let me stress one key point, Luca. I have learned that when people speak about music, sometimes they make a mistake, a big mistake. When we speak about leadership style, we often refer to music. So we always say, we always refer to the orchestra conductors. Be careful, Luca, and be careful, listeners. Don't get it wrong. As Mariano Corso, he is a professor at MIT Polytechnic of Milan, taught me different leadership styles must correspond to different situations. So there cannot be one leadership style which is always the best. In a situation where the urgency is high, but the competence gap is low, we need a charismatic leader, an orchestra conductor. But when you just see competence gaps are perceived as high, we need a surgeon. Hold on. When UGC and competence gaps are perceived as low, we need a coach, or last but not least, in a situation of high competence gap and low urgency, we need a commander in chief. So there are different profiles. And a good leader can play different roles. That is my perspective on people and change management. That is my perspective on the working world, Luca.
Also because like music entails like the idea of an audience that reacts and interacts with you. So certainly that is part of the whole enchantment of the communication, the spark that lights up a conversation and a real communication. Now, your main position is at Milano Fiera, which is the expositive pavilion of the city of Milan. And why Milan's Fiera is a key site of Italian industrialism, in your opinion?
Okay, Fiera Milano is one of the greatest showcases in the world. It's a business platform that has been organizing, hosting, and managing international events in Italy and worldwide since 1920. So we provide exhibition areas for the organization of all types of events. Designed by Massimiliano Fuxas, an Italian architect, our exhibition is spread out over 20 large pavilions located on both sides of a 1 kilometer long pedestrian street. Last but not least, Luca, we are based in Milan. You know Milan, you know very well. And Milan is the heart of Lombardy and is in the center of Europe. Milan stands for fashion, finance, publishing, and services. It's a multicultural, modern, lively city. It's an economic hub, we could say. Beyond the figures, an exhibition center, so Fiera Milano, you asked me something about Fiera Milano, an exhibition center is a laboratory, because each and every trade show is the result of many experiments carried out by many companies. A trade show is not a full stop, to stop. A trade show is an open door. That's why I like working at Fiera Milano. That's why I'm really excited to work for Fiera. If you love the future, Fiera Milano is the right place to work. If you love learning, Fiera Milano is the right place to be.
In a way, Fiera Milano is a form of kind of a replica of the Universal Expositions, which were like the major events that brought the world all together from different perspectives, different areas of productivity. And in a way, internet replicates the experience of a Universal Exposition on a virtual platform. So in a way, there is a real fair, but also a fair that interacts with the virtual fair that brings together the whole world in the internet. Now, in one of your areas of expertise is internal communication, and you often talk about the human factor as a key element in internal communication for a company. How do you move from the human factor to a human factory, as you describe in your book, and why is the person the real capital of a company, and why are humanists and storytellers key figures in a company?
I would like to replicate with a question. What is the most valuable asset for a company? What is the most valuable asset? From my point of view, the most valuable asset is the success of people. So I like putting the success of people at the top of the list for company success. Employees are the most valuable asset an organization has, because company success is dependent on the work force. For this reason, we can say that every company is a people company. That's all. As stated by NABOE, the National Association of Business Owners and Entrepreneurs based in the US, many factors contribute to being successful in business. Having a sound strategy, having a marketable product or service, blah, blah, blah. But it falls to the people within the organization to execute on the strategy, plans, and so on. So we often hear phrases like, Luca, our employees are our most important asset. Simon Sinek, a marketing consultant and best-selling author, has said, customer will never love a company unless the employees love it first. So to begin to execute on the concept that your employees are your company, start by listening to what they have to say and by taking that seriously. That's why I think that the internal communication comes before the external communications. Each and every company needs an internet of people. It's IOP time. It's time for an internet of people, all linked by digital devices. Look, there's something more. I think that the internal communication is the internet of value. I mean, the internet of value is a digital network of needs that transfer value thanks to the net. So humanists as you and storytellers can contribute to building the intranet of people and support the internet or intranet of value. As Christian Kron, the futurist entrepreneur and the author of the Amazon best-seller book says, go digital, stay human.
And definitely the humanists are like kind of dot connectors in the way you present them, dot connectors inside a company, but also in the relation, in the bridging, mediating what happens in a company to the audience, as you were describing earlier with regard to the musical audience. And in this sense, the real network really that enables this thing that you just said to happen is LinkedIn, which is in your work both a professional network and a human network. So how do you build value and following, which is both light and substantive? And if you can also explain your LinkedIn motto, which says like, in the knowledge-based economy, sharing counts as much as ownership. That would be great, because I think it follows very well on what you were saying just now.
Okay, Luca, we are facing the digital transformation. But what is the digital innovation? As Antonio Ghezzi, is a professor at MIT Polytechnical Milan, said, it is the set of digital technologies characterized by being pervasive and multi-purpose, customer-centric. Hold on. One phenomenon based on digital platform is the sharing economy. Digital technologies enable a substantial shift from paradigm of ownership of goods or knowledge to that of access to goods or knowledge. So examples range from car sharing to sharing of all kinds of assets, like apartments, boats, tools. But one relevant example is sharing knowledge on social media. You, Luca, share knowledge on YouTube. We, you and me, are sharing knowledge on YouTube, on LinkedIn as well. So no one is the master of knowledge. We can all share our knowledge thanks to digital technologies. Digital technologies cause a transversal change with respect to traditional business model parameters. So from customer segment to generating customer experiences. As my LinkedIn motto says, in the knowledge-based economy, sharing counts as much as ownership. In the digital innovations, sharing counts as much as ownership. So sharing. This is, I think that this is my motto, and I'm quite sure that is your motto as well.
Oh, definitely. I always compare what I do to winemaking. If you produce good wine, the experience of sharing the beauty of a good glass of wine with others is certainly something that enhances the creative moment even more and creates that experience that you were describing. Now on LinkedIn, you started during the pandemic with Monica Bormetti, a phenomenal show, which is called New Normal Live. In the show, you present and observe the landscape of contemporary Italian entrepreneurship. I want to ask you, what are the most interesting experiences of Italian innovation now? What caught your attention the most?
I could tell Luca many best experiences, but I would like to mention just 3 experiences. So the first one is about Plastic Finder. It's an innovative platform that offer commercial services for the exchange of polymers and plastics. So it's an e-commerce site on which sellers and buyers can find new business opportunities. But what makes this Italian marketplace unique? Plastic Finder registered the trademark name Certified Circular Plastic in the EU. It's the first one. I'm really happy that the new circular plastic world comes from Italy. The second story, Luca, is about Gaetano Lapenta. Gaetano Lapenta is my friend and is a really inspiring professional. He's the CEO of Fibra, F-Y-B-R-A. It's an Italian company that improves indoor air quality through natural ventilation. By combining sensors and artificial intelligence, they guaranteed healthiness, comfort, and energy efficiencies. According to the WHO, the World Health Organization, any solution in which people are in close proximity to one another for a long period of time increases the risk of virus transmission. So for this reason, Fibra is a great solution. Gaetano Lapenta has launched a device that improves indoor air quality, and he won many prizes. And last but not least, the third story is about Mondo. Did you see, Luca, the final of the men's 100 meter at the Tokyo Olympics?
Of course.
Of course. So Italy's Marcel Jacobs won the race. He set a new European record. But Marcel ran on the brand new athletics track, Mondo Track WS, supplied by Mondo. Mondo means world in Italian. So the material for the Olympic track was produced in Italy. I'm really proud of Mondo. We are really proud of Mondo. So it was founded in Piedmont region in Alba in 1948 as a ball manufacturer. Mondo nowadays is a is the global leader in the track and field. So we are really proud. More than, think about, Luca, more than 1,000 tracks, Mondo tracks, and millions of square feet of the company's high-performance athletic surfaces are installed in facility worldwide. So the reason for this enduring relationship, I'm speaking about the relation between Mondo and the Olympic Games, is the innovation, the Italian innovation, Luca.
That's really, really fascinating. Thank you. And definitely, as a last question, I want to ask you about the Internet of Things with IoT, which is one of the big trends now in the world, and your idea of intranet of people, IOP. Why is the human factor the core of the digital revolution and success? And how does one emerge from the intricacies of the web and discover one's own voice, or in your words, melody? And how does one create one's own personal branding?
So how many hours have you got, Luca?
We can go as long as you want.
So first of all, for decades, we've been talking about digital transformation. We can see the digital transformation from a completely different perspective. I mean, we are in the middle of fourth industrial revolution. The first revolution was the revolution ignited by the invention of the steam engine, you know. The second revolution was ignited by the invention of the electricity. The third one was driven by information technology. But for a technological point of view, the engines of this fourth industrial revolution are represented by the digital innovation that fosters Italia in an incredible vortex. So from the Internet of Things to the blockchain, from big data to artificial intelligence. But if you think about it, the winners of the fourth industrial revolution are the ones who can grasp the weak signal to imagine new services and products. I mean, the real winners are the entrepreneurs who have created new services and completed new markets. That's the human factor you've just mentioned. You just mentioned, Luca. That's why I say that the human factor is the core of the digital revolution. I mean, there are many technological innovation, multi-device, omni-channel, social media. I like social media, you know, Internet of Things, big data, blah, 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 industry 4.0, blockchain. But behind this technological innovation, there are many innovators, many entrepreneurs. This is the human factor that I have already mentioned. This is the human factor. We cannot see the fourth revolution without mentioning people. Thanks to my job, thanks to many interviews, I met many entrepreneurs, Luca, more than 1,000 entrepreneurs. I like entrepreneurs because they are plenty of passion. They like what they do. It happens in Italy, but I'm sure that it happens all over the world. Last but not least, you've asked me how we can emerge from the web. I can answer you that it's very important, you just mentioned it, to create your personal branding, your logo. I mean, look, are you a cultural historian? So then speak about culture and history on the internet. Don't talk about everything. Found your niche. I mean, my experience can help other people to discover their own voice. I began writing about the transformation in the world of work on LinkedIn a few years ago. And I invented the hashtag Rassegna Lavoro. The English for, it's the Italian for work review, I suppose. Is it correct?
Yeah, survey review, definitely.
So maybe it could be job review. Is it correct in English? Okay, job review. So I'm a journalist, and I know that bad news, Luca, makes more noise than good news. But I wanted to tell my followers about the light side of the world of work. That is my niche. Every day I share some good news on LinkedIn. People trust me. My followers trust me because they know that I'm true to my editorial plan. So in simple words, choose the niche that you enjoy. Focus on your niche. You, Luca, have created Italian innovators, and you present Italy's contributors to the modern world. So you are a brand of love from my perspective, because I know that listening to your interviews, I will learn a lot about the Italian model of fusion of arts and entrepreneurship. So Luca, you discovered a niche. That's your melody. That's your reason why, I could say. So as a LinkedIn top voice, I choose to focus my time, my energy, my passion, my conversation on good news and good entrepreneurs who inspire me, who teach me, who support me, and who help me to grow. So focus on your strengths, not on your weaknesses, and you will succeed. I'm really sure of it.
Well, thank you very much. And in what you were saying, I couldn't help but think of the word impresa, which is Italian for entrepreneurship in a way. But the word impresa in Italian also means adventure, means feat, heroic initiative. So in a way, entrepreneurship contains this urge to innovate, but also this urge to go to the venture and to find the treasure, one's own voice, and really the object of desire, which sometimes we don't know yet. We're discovering only if you're willing to walk the path. So thank you very much for this really enlightening conversation. And we talked about new media, the impact of the humanities in shaping the internet, the role of storytelling and internal communication in the growth and branding of a company. And it was a real pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Luca. It was a really pleasure. But I would like to leave this conversation with one more word.
Yes.
It's design. What is design? You know that design is a Latin word that comes from sign. It's really important in our world to imagine a sign. Design your path, design your logo, design your brand, design your company. Design. It means find your sign in this world, and you will succeed. I'm really sure of it. So design. That's the key word of our time, Luca.
And in a way, it's actually quite funny because the word design has the same root of the word insegnare, to teach in Italian. So insegnare means to leave a sign in, design means to leave a sign from. So from your imagination, you leave a sign in the word. But you can't leave a sign unless someone left it in you, insegnare, which is kind of in the Romance languages, enseigner, insegnar. So I think this really sums up our conversation, in the sense that really entrepreneurship is this attempt to leave a sign, a meaningful sign, a meaningful melody in the context of our world, where there's a lot of chatter. Some of it is irrelevant, but within this chatter, there's a lot that has purpose, meaning, and that has the potential to build the good news that you were talking about, and something that is able to make everybody grow. So in this sense, entrepreneurship is a sharing of knowledge where in the sharing, everybody grows. Thanks again. It was really useful and helpful for everybody. And thanks everybody for listening. I really invite everybody to subscribe to this channel or to the newsletter on the webpage of the show at www.italianinnovators.com to receive notifications of new episodes and know more about this project. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook for updates, news, and additional materials.
Me too.
And also follow Filippo Poletti on LinkedIn, because that's like the top voice. So as they say in Latin, ubi maior minor cessa, where there's someone bigger than you, like the smaller one doesn't have any relevance. But no, Filippo is really someone you need to follow. Absolutely, there's no excuse for not following Filippo Poletti on LinkedIn and his show New Normal Live, which is really window open on contemporary Italy in Italian. So I hope I can give like a minimal sense of what you're doing to the Anglo-Saxon world. So thanks again for being with us.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Luca.
Thanks for your support and arrivederci.
Have a nice
alla prossima.
Alla prossima. Ciao, Luca. Ciao.